Hey there! Now you're a Litten. Screw you, Latte, I'm out of here. Now that I finally got my revenge on him, what the heck am I going to do? Ah! How'd you get into my house?
Space time continuum. Potato salad. Let's go up!
Sure, I got nothing better to do.
Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to...
What are you doing?
I always introduce the person who made the original video. It's kind of my thing. Come on, man. I've already been questioned on this crap once recently.
But this is my channel.
Please.
Fine.
Yay! Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce to you Red Pill Gaming, one of those YouTubers who just talks while there's gameplay in the background. $5 says that if I search for Diablo 3 gameplay, I'm gonna find this exact video somewhere without his commentary. Anyway, let's skip over his still image intro with a social blade splash at the beginning for some reason, and get started. Does Social Blade offer some kind of video editing or something? What the fuck?
Before the video begins, I want to say that I have a good 25% feeling that this guy is possibly a troll, but looking at how he's responding to his comments, I'm more than willing to believe that he actually backs up what he's saying.
Back with another video. I want to touch on a subject that's actually been disturbing me a lot, and it has to do with a certain trend that's starting to pick up now in this century, and I want to talk about bronies. Of course, with how I'm starting out with this video, you guys probably already figured what I'm going to have to say and where this is going to lead to.
You know, if I had $1 for every anti-brony or brony hate material I've seen, I'd probably have enough money to buy ad space on PewDiePie's channel. But bad jokes aside, this topic is literally a dead horse. Practically everyone and their mother has already complained about bronies, and it's usually the same rehashed argument all the time. You want to bet what he's going to say?
Yeah, my money's on this video being a time capsule from 2010, especially since he acts like bronies are a brand fucking new concept. You know, 6 years after the movement began? Intelligent.
But for the most part, I do not like bronies. At all. I do not like them. I mean, I'm pretty sure more than enough of you already know what a brony is. It's a guy that basically likes, or is a fanboy of, My Little Pony. Whether it's the toys, the cartoon show itself, and even the costumes. Yes, this even goes as far as guys dressing like My Little Pony.
You know what I find funny? Later in the video, he'll talk about how people like bronies weren't around in his time. But if you just take the bare bones of what he just said, they watch the show, they buy the merchandise, and they go as far as dressing up as characters from the show. This can easily be applied to Trekkies. And for those who don't know, these are uber fans of Star Trek, which began being documented in 1969. And there were testimonies from people like Leonard Nimoy about how frantic the Trekkies were. Hell, there were even documentation of people acting like this back in the times of Sherlock Holmes' initial release.
With the horns and the wings and the colored long hair. I see something wrong with that, because I see these kind of guys as being emasculated.
Well, yes, I suppose if you're going around your daily life wearing unicorn horns, you would definitely look a lot less manly. Oh wait. Yeah, I seriously doubt that a guy like Biggie Langston would be willing to don what The Rock referred to as a llama penis if he thought he was emasculating himself. And if you think that, then, well, he probably doesn't give a fuck what you think, as he's probably more secure in his masculinity than someone who exclusively displays female video game characters and then talks about how feminine guys who like something he doesn't are.
And I do want to make one key point very clear, and I do mean very clear in my video. I am not knocking on these guys because they like a certain kind of toy or a cartoon or a theme involving a toy. That's not the point here. That is not why I'm attacking these guys. Well, I really shouldn't say attack, but I guess they're going to take this as an attack because I already figured that more than enough bronies are going to hate on my video, and that's perfectly okay if they do that, but I gotta talk about them.
This is something that really irks me when it comes to people talking about specific groups of others. They'll often say that the community will hate their work simply because they're talking negatively about them. There are a number of factors that can go into reasons why people can hate a video, you know, and give it dislikes. The argument could be weak in their view, your gameplay music is too loud and you couldn't be bothered to add the audio of it so we could actually hear you talk, or anything as petty as just hating your voice. People can dislike your video for any reason, logical or illogical, so don't assume that any hate you get automatically comes from bronies.
Also notice how rambly this video tends to be. Repeating yourself for the sake of repeating yourself, going off on a secondary subject in order to cover your tracks, etc. Also, no, you don't have to talk about them if they aren't shoving their fandom down your throat, which, based on the way this video sounds, they aren't.
But like I was saying, if it was toys like that, such as Voltron, G.I. Joe, Transformers, Robotech, Thundercats, and such, you know, boy toys, I guess you want to call them, I wouldn't be knocking on them. Because those are all male-themed things.
Well then, I guess you can't knock on bronies then, because allow me to introduce you to the Guardians of Equestria line of toys. These toys are based off the MLP line with more action-oriented base to them. For crying out loud, there's an armored stallion riding a dragon. That sounds like something you'd see on a heavy metal rock cover, for crying out loud. But that's beside the point, because here's something else. You're not going after them from like a specific franchise that's targeted towards a demographic outside their own. You're going after them for a specific franchise that's targeted towards a demographic outside their own. Oh, but your parameters are gender. That makes it okay. Yeah, no it doesn't. Oh, and by the by, make note of his use of the word toy. Not all bronies care about the toys, just like not all Pokemon fans give two craps about the anime.
The reason why I'm attacking this group is because they are liking a female-themed setting. The cartoon, the toys and shit. And they're going as far as dressing like them.
But here's the thing, you're making it out as if they dress up as the characters on a daily basis. And you're painting as if it's the entire fandom doing it. That's a mass generalization, and considering that your name is a Red Pill Gaming, which is a pop culture symbol for truth, you're doing a good job of lying to your, well, relatively small audience.
If you do a Google search based on this, it's really fucked up. You'll see more than enough bronies, and you'll know what a brony is.
I like how you say Google search based on this so that you can cover your ass by not showing that you used a biased search term to make the results as cringeworthy as possible. But we'll get to your cherry picking and propaganda later. But how do I know that you were covering your ass? You had to pause mid-sentence in order to make sure you didn't give a specific search term that proved that the images that you show later are further down. Oh, but don't worry. I'll point out how badly you cherry-picked these in a moment.
I mean, there's even videos where a lot of guys are admitting to being a brony, and I noticed there's also hater videos against bronies, and I'm all for this. I'm all for guys that are going against them. And the reason I'm all for this, for these guys that are going against the bronies, including myself, well, it's because I see it this way. If you like a theme that is based only for females, either a toy or a cartoon, even if you go as far as dressing like them, you are going against your own male nature.
Now this is something I find hilarious. Just because someone likes one thing, and I do mean one thing, that means they're going against their nature. It's almost if bronies just like one thing and that one thing be the show. Take me for example. Yes, I am a brony, and yeah, I like the show of course. But I also like mystery, noir, manga and anime, and live-action Japanese tokusatsu shows that can have scenes like this. But apparently, according to this guy, you can have the manliest guy on the planet who would be the definition of masculinity, and it'd be Dash simply for him liking Rainbow Dash. Such wonderful logic!
Common Chicken, you may not be aware of this, but I'm really good at using people's own logic against them, so let's go by this guy's logic that watching a television show is designed for the opposite gender means that you socially belong to the opposite gender. There is one thing that he's forgetting. Social and biological gender are two different things. While it is true that there are certain aspects of human behavior that do naturally change with whatever genitalia you happen to have, but when it comes to media consumption, boy shows and girl shows are solely based on social perception and have nothing to do with biological instinct. Hell, watching television technically goes against that in the first place if you really want to go there, so your argument about going against nature falls flat on its face because it's about a fucking TV show.
You are totally emasculating yourself. And this is what these guys are doing clearly. They are totally emasculating themselves. Who is going to promote them for this? Well, of course, feminists. I mean, think about it. They promote gay rights. They promote same-sex couples. What makes you think they're not going to promote this? Feminism... I mean, God, feminists, they'll promote anything that's fucked up. And I see this as being totally fucked up.
Where the hell did that come from? And do you not realize what you just implied here? You just implied that homosexuality and gay rights were a bad thing. So congrats! You just got another reason why people can dislike your video.
Why do people deserve to be disallowed from having credit, having a place to live, or even getting a job on the basis of sexual orientation? Even better, do these people deserve to have criminal behaviors including vandalism of their property and murder, fucking murder, mind you, happen to them because of this? I mean, spout out of context Bible verses all you want. I live in Alabama, I get that if I spit my gum out in the wrong time. But the Bible specifically says that these actions are wrong, whether your interpretation includes homosexuality as a sin or not.
Hey, like it or not, I'm sorry. I don't like bronies. I just don't like them. And I certainly would not. God. What the fuck, man? What is wrong with this century?
Oh great, he's circling the drain. You know, it wouldn't kill you to edit out some of your pauses, or when you forget what you're saying, or repeat yourself, or repeat yourself, or repeat yourself, or repeat yourself, or repeat yourself.
We broke him! We fucking broke him! Somebody give me the number for 9/11!
Because they only started coming into this century. Back in my day, you know, girl things were only for girls, and guy things were only for guys. Such as Voltron, Transformers, Thundercats, Robotech, even Mask. I'm sure most of you guys remember Mask, the cartoon and the toys.
And I used to walk 10 miles to school every day in the winter without shoes! But more to the point, while I don't know how old you are, I'm guessing you're referring to the late 70s or 80s depending on the brands you mentioned. I was a 90s kid, and I grew up with these things, and guess what? A lot of the girls I hung out during that time were also into that He-Man and Thundercats stuff. Hell if I know why, but I guess I could speculate. Girls and guys can like whatever the hell they want. Just because something may target a certain demographic, that doesn't mean it's only for that demographic. Now you might be thinking that my personal experience doesn't really count as an argument, and you'd be absolutely right if I was going up against facts. But since this guy's using his own personal experience as an argument, I feel it's fair game.
I mean, back then, hell, you didn't even have bronies. Back in the 70s and the 80s. But now, I'm seeing a lot of them. And it's fucking ridiculous.
Trekkies. 1969. People like bronies existed. The only difference is the media they were watching.
It's crazy how there are so many guys that are just totally throwing their emasculate. They're just, God, they're just totally throwing away their masculinity.
Didn't he already make this point? Oh, great. The YouTuber's broken again.
Do I need to get the antihistamine again?
God, it bugs me so much. I'm even screwing up on my own words in my video. Man, I can't believe this shit. Now what I'm going to do is, I'm going to show a little clip show to you guys based on how the typical brony looks like, and oh god.
Translation. I went on Google, cherry-picked some pictures, and project that onto the entirety of the brony fandom.
Brilliant! Brilliant!
Guys, I'm going to be real with you. I hated doing this part on my video and editing these fucks into my video because I could not even look at them for 2 solid seconds. Hell, I couldn't even stand looking at them for 1 second. So, I'm going to show you guys what typical brony looks.
Warning! Warning! Bullshitter alert!
Yet you couldn't do basic editing so we could actually hear you in certain parts of your video. Now, I'd like to point out a few things about the pictures he shows. A number of them are taken from conventions, events where people will dress up and can act as their favorite characters from any sort of media, meaning they don't dress like this every day, yet he'll paint the picture that bronies will dress and act like this in everyday life, which is not the case. Are there cringeworthy people in the brony community? Yeah, I won't deny that, but 1, you find these people in every community, and 2, these tend to be a minority of people.
And let's take a quick look at the Google search just to see how badly this guy cherry-picked. I search brony cosplay and I see one of your images near the top and none of the others anywhere in the first 100 images. But let's say you just search brony because you're not aware of the cosplayers. Okay, you find one more image. Repeatedly, I might add. The only time I find anything else within the first 100 images, insert the word cringe into the search. In other words, you found 2 examples by just searching for the terminology, 1 example by specifically searching for the worst, and even after that you had to dig for 4 more examples. If these were sent to you, congratulations on judging an entire fan base on images that show up low in Google searches. You win a gold star in your face. By the goddamn point.
Curse you, sheep!
Bronies? Guys that are into My Little Pony. Didn't know a single one that was into it. Because they didn't exist back in my time. There was no such thing as bronies until this century, which we live in a century where black is white and wrong is right, and everything is just backwards, twisted, and fucked up.
You know, that can actually be applied to this very video, because you only stereotype bronies on the fact they like one show. Uno show!
This being one of the problems, I wouldn't even be surprised if these guys were actually gamers. And I'm pretty sure more than enough that there are gamer bronies in the gaming community. That's just as bad as the fake girl gamers coming into the gaming community.
You know what? Get off your high horse! I'm barely gonna touch the fake gamer girl thing, since that's a can of worms that I don't even want to go near. But gaming is a media that everyone can get into. Bronies, girls, kids, everyone can get into gaming. It's elitists like you that are giving gamers a bad name, telling people that if it's effed up if some people get into gaming. Meh.
Fake girl gamers, huh? You mean like my sister, who's 3 years older than me and probably fits into the age demographic that you're trying to call normal better than I fit in that age demographic? You mean like some of the college girls I hung out with during high school? For fuck's sake, that argument is so dated that it was irrelevant when I was in high school. I'm fucking 29 years old. Also, keep in mind that your gameplay footage is out of a female playable character. You know why female playable characters are popular enough to be an option in games like Diablo 3? Girl gamers who want to identify with their in-game avatars.
Man, this is really fucked up. Guys that like My Little Pony. You know, My Little Pony fanboys. Such things like this are just unheard of back in my time, but I see this century has changed for the worst, and a lot of things have changed for the worst. This being one of those things. And I know most likely a lot of people are going to hate this video, because most likely a person that dislikes or writes nasty comments in this video is most likely going to be either a Brony fan or a Brony himself.
Yet one look at your comments tell a different story. With what little comments you actually got, you never got any flack for your BS.
I don't care for them. They're not my kind of people. You know, I don't do shit like that. I don't wear a horn on my head with long rainbow-colored hair and a rainbow outfit. That's not guy stuff. That's not masculine. Hell, I don't even know if foreign women found out these kind of guys were doing this, they would even see something is wrong with them, because they favor masculinity.
Foreign women? Great job generalizing again, buddy! Why bring up foreign women? And considering that there are Brony conventions in Japan, Australia, and Europe, it's safe to assume that there are foreign women who might be into bronies. Not all, mind you, but there are some who could be.
And I am truly a 100% masculine male who likes Voltron, Transformers, Thundercats. I know I've been over this so many times already in this video, but I gotta keep stressing on this.
Oh, no, we didn't skip anything here. He's saying that women will find him sexually attractive because he likes Voltron and Thundercats. Excuse me a moment.
I can't believe there's actually guys that collect toys and watch the cartoon series of My Little Pony. It's for girls. It's girl shit that guys are getting into. I see something very wrong with that.
Alright, there's a big difference between this and this! Quality, good story writing, some halfway decent action. This drew people from many walks of life to the show to enjoy it. Good sir, please remove your head from between your buttocks. You will find that the air out here is so much more refreshing.
And when I see a guy dressing like that, I either think he is gay or something is seriously wrong with him. He's clearly fucked up in the head if he happens to be a My Little Pony fan.
Hey, that homophobia is showing up again. You gotta love them Freudian slips.
I know I sound very offensive in this video, but I got to.
No, you really didn't. You could have easily chosen not to do this video. It's your channel. You decide what to put on here.
I don't like this shit. I'm not into this shit. It's not me as a masculine red pill man who likes video games. It's just not me. I don't like this shit. I just don't agree with it. It's... Oh god, it's just very distasteful to see guys like this in this century, I mean. But it just goes to show you on how more men are becoming emasculated, and this is one of those ways.
What is a man? A miserable little pile of secrets.
But I had to talk about this. I really had to, ever since I've seen the Brony community growing, and it really bothers me that there are guys like this in this century that are into such things.
And it took you 6 years to do this. The Brony community's been around since the show's inception. What the hell have you been doing? Skipping the rest since he just repeats his point, although there's one more thing I want to point out.
Man, fucking bronies, man. I guess they can't take a joke either. Well, I tried telling them. With all the shit they're doing and the way that they dress, well, they're just emasculating themselves. But do they want to listen to me and everyone else? Well, nope.
How do you know it was bronies who disliked the video? Also, what video is this? And, can I go back to my coffin now? This guy makes me want to try to ascend to the heavens again. As I said earlier, there are cringy people in every community or fandom. But this video was just a mess. Poor audio editing. There were times I couldn't even hear the guy speak over his gameplay, which when presenting yourself is a dumb thing to do. Then there's the repetition. We get it. You don't like bronies, and you think they're not masculine. But just because you repeat something, that doesn't mean it's true. And the cherry picking. Enough said.
This video is fucking awful. Those of you who have followed my content probably know how I feel about lies and manipulation of information. And when you boil this down to its essence, that's all this video is. Oh, but it's worse, because it's not like people have any reason to buy this bullshit, and not just because accurate information about the fandom is already well documented and more easily available on the internet than your video is. It's because literally everything you say operates on an outdated mindset that pretty much falls flat on its face once you say the words, "It wasn't this way 30 or 40 years ago." So as much as I hate to ever say this, my advice is that you get with the times. Your brain isn't just stuck in that time period you keep bringing up as a time when bronies didn't exist, when you provide no evidence to support the fact that fans of programming for the opposite gender didn't exist and instead weren't willing to talk about it in society because of the associated stigma and didn't have the internet to talk about it in a less judgmental environment. In other words, the minority now has a louder voice. And it's not even the minority in this case, since the show's just better written and animated overall. I say as a non-brony who has seen the show and thought it was decent.
So, now what? I don't usually do gags at the end of these things, and...
Look out, bro! This fucking chicken flying from the sky with a friggin' helicopter, dick! I don't know. I made that up on the spot. Alright, cool. Awesome.